Hey guys, welcome to my Reign of Arrows build guide. This build is an absolute blast to play. I've been enjoying it the last several days. You can see here the build is able to practically spam Reign of Arrows. All I do is I hold in my Reign of Arrows in my core skill and just hold it in and spam away multiple times a second. The way this works is with the Beastfall boots, you drain your energy, powered by the Rogue class passive, the Preparation. For every 75 energy you spend, you reduce your ultimate cooldown by 5 seconds. And if you spend 150, that would be 10 seconds. Then all we have to do is get our ultimate to be 10 seconds or less. To do that, we need the Word of Hakan amulet, as well as something to increase our ultimate rank up to at least rank, I believe, 8 or 9. We're doing this through the Shako Harlequin Crest helmet. And together with these three items, you can hold in your Rain of Arrows as well as a core skill, and you can just fire away repeatedly. I'm using Twisting Blades in this because Twisting Blades has the fastest cast rate. Between each cast of Rain of Arrows, since that resets all your cooldowns, you can simply dash. So I dash between packs, shoot Rain of Arrows a few times, and then keep dashing while everything dies behind me. This is excellent for pits and absolutely dominates in hordes. Although, if you're doing something where you actually expect to get loot, such as like a Helltide or a Nightmare Dungeon, you will have to double back to get the loot, or simply stand there and wait for things to die, since Rain of Arrows does have a built-in delay before the arrows arrive. So here's how it works. If you take a look at the Skyhunter bow, you'll see that it has a high chance for marksman's projectiles to cast twice. Now, anybody looking at that might just instantly think, hey, I can get my free marksman temper for my marksman skill, I don't have to worry about anything else. Well, the trick with that is, there is a single skill that is a marksman skill that doesn't have a chance to cast twice, and that skill is Rain of Arrows. So you can then take Rain of Arrows tempers and along with the Word of Hakan amulet, and get your Rain of Arrows to have a 100% chance to deal double damage, and a 100% or near 100% chance, in my case it's 99%, to cast twice. So every single time you press the button to fire Rain of Arrows, it fires not one, not two, not three, but 4 waves. And since we can spam this in quick succession, we can overlap these waves on top of each other to get a absolute downpour of arrows. Let's talk gear. If you're just starting out, the Word of Hakan and the Beastfall boots are all you need to get this build going. If you have Mythics, the Harlequin Crest is the most important aspect of the build, as it will allow you to have an under 10-second cooldown on your Rain of Arrows. The Shroud of False Death for Mythics is also just a must-have in pretty much every build. And of course, the Ring of Starless Skies, if it could fit in the build, it usually deserves to be there. If not though, you have a couple extra spots for a helm and chest. You can use a Umbrous aspect, or another defensive that is to your suiting. On my gloves, I have the Frostbitten aspect, just for more critical strike damage with scales of precision. On my legs, I have the Noxious Ice, similar poison damage to frozen enemies. The Skyhunter bow enables the 4 waves, as previously mentioned, and should be the third item that you seek to make sure the build is fully up and running. The aspects for both of the weapons are the ones that increase Aerostorm damage, because the Word of Hakan amulet makes it so Aerostorm aspects work for Rain of Arrows. These are up to 65% damage multiplier each. And on the ring, I use Conceited aspect. You're going to want to temper crit damage everywhere you can, and chance for Rain of Arrows, double damage on both weapons, unless you can manage to get it maxed out to 100% between the amulet and one weapon, in which case I'd probably do caltrop size or duration, whichever you prefer. There isn't really a good resource temper for the ring. Everything either reduces cooldown or gives more resource, both of which are completely not needed for the build, so it doesn't really matter. As far as stat priority goes, you're going to want to get 100% sheet attack speed, as well as 100% crit chance. You can get crit chance through your skill tree via various nodes, so keep that in mind. As for runes, I am currently using a Zen Vex, so that whenever you cast your ultimate 7 times, you get a +3 to all skills, as well as cast a skill with a cooldown for Warcry, again, just more damage. If you do not yet have a Harlequin Crest, I would swap out the +3 skills for reduce your ultimate cooldown, which is a Zek. So, let me break down the skill tree real quick. Just 2 skills, throw them away, you're not using a basic. Down here in the core skill cluster, you want to pick up the passives for crit chance. Assuming you need these, it's possible your gear factors in for all the crit, and obviously the close damage reduction. If you don't yet have a Shaco, you can pick a core skill that you like to put in your build, intersperse. You can use Flurry because it has a nice little gap closer, or you can use anything you like really. I use Twisting Blades. Once it's working best, it does attack the fastest. Down the next cluster, you want to pick up these damage passives, and then Caltrops is really more for pushing content. If you're just running around in the world or doing anything and it's balanced for your character, you won't really use Caltrops or need it. So put a pin in that if you don't need it. If you are doing the more speedrun version, I usually use Shadow Step and Dash both. Down here, the only thing I have here is these passives, and then the 2 points to make Smoke Grenade do extra damage. You do not need the cooldown reduction because Preparation will constantly reset your cooldowns. You just want that Smoke Grenade to go into the rotation for extra damage, and you want the damage passives here. And this is where I dump the excess points I have, so whether or not you have excess points, you want to have Dark Shroud. And I don't really need that. I could probably just take that off. Here we go. Down here, you just want to put 1 point in all of these. And of course, for your finesse, you can put points in here as needed, if you're dependent upon where your crit chance is. Down here in the last cluster, I picked this up. It's not that necessary. You have a vulnerable chance on your cold imbue, so that's the only real value of that in this build. You pick up these passives, the Aftermath, Unto Dawn, obviously max Rain of Arrows and its upgrades. Max out Second Wind, you want to put ranks in that in your gear where it's possible, just because this is what makes you insanely tanky in this build. And of course, Haste is a nice little useful thing to make your Rain of Arrows fire faster, because when you dump your energy, it attacks faster, because it'll be the next thing you cast. And then of course, Precision passive. The Paragon starter board, I put in Infusion, just because the actual bonus cooldown thing is useless, but it's just a damage scaling, 200% imbued damage. I could potentially replace that with Headhunter, which I've seen a lot of people use. I guess it probably scales better. Up here, I have Combat. This is your big one. You want to max this one as soon as possible and put everything. I put it in the No Witnesses board because of the boards I'm using. It has the most int in this radius. Over here on the next board, I believe it is Eldritch Bounty. These are a 20% multiplier. I'm not sure how that stacks with the Rain of Arrows, but it's at least 20%. Could be 60. It could be 1.2 to the third. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's gonna be helpful to the build. Candy Rune, similar. It's just non-physical. Rain of Arrows is all non-physical, so scaling that one also. For the int, over here I have Versatility, just because it is going to give you a 25% X on Rain of Arrows because of the non-core, non-basic skill, and that's on the cheap shop board for more damage to them staggered bosses. And then we have Control Rune, which is obviously making its way into most rogue builds, on the thing called Dance Macabre board. Now this one, I went back and forth on the last board here, but the way the build works is I can cast a Rain of Arrows core skill and then Dark Shroud. I kind of just hold all three buttons, and as long as the Dark Shroud is the one you cast before your Rain of Arrows, every Rain of Arrows is going to have a 50% multiplier. I don't control it that well. Like I said, I just hold them in. I'm not sure how well it works or how well it doesn't. I think my damage goes down when I take it off, though, so I left it in the build. Alternatively, you could use the, I don't even know the name of the board, the one that makes your Cutthroat do 25% when you cast Marksman and vice versa. But that's pretty much the build. Thanks for watching, guys.